Hi, it's Hinda and welcome to Cooking Fantasies. In today's video, we're going to be making caramel eclairs from scratch. I will show you how to make your choux pastry for the eclairs, a nice caramel cream filling and caramel glazing. And we're going to start by making our choux pastry, for which we're going to need 65 grams of water, 60 grams milk, 20 grams sugar, 75 grams flour, 50 grams butter, a pinch of salt, 2 eggs, and 1 egg for the egg wash. In a saucepan, pour the water, the milk, add the sugar, the salt, and the butter. Then allow your butter to melt and the mixture to simmer. Give it one quick mix to make sure there is no sugar stuck to the bottom and remove it from the heat as soon as it starts boiling. Immediately add the flour in one go. Use a scraper or a wooden spoon to incorporate the flour. You have to mix it against the both sides and bottom in order to dissolve all the flour lumps. And once you get a nice, soft and homogeneous kind of paste, place it back on the stove to dry it or to dehydrate it. This takes about 1 to 2 minutes tops. Transfer the dough to a new bowl and add the first egg. And incorporate it using a wooden spoon, spatula or scraper. When making pâte à choux or choux pastry, it is important to incorporate 1 egg at a time, so we have to make sure that that egg is totally incorporated before we add in the second one. Beat the second egg and gradually incorporate it in the dough. At this point it might seem too sticky, but just keep mixing and it will come together nicely afterwards. Place the dough in a piping bag. I'm using the tip number 12, which is relatively small, so I go quite slowly that my eclairs don't end up too thin. If you are using a bigger tip, then you can go a bit faster. You can always try, and if you're not happy with the shape, just place the dough back into the piping bag and keep trying until you get it right. It's totally safe to do so, and practice makes perfect. Just keep in mind that they will still blow while baking, so don't place them too close to each other. With wet fingers, soften the edges. Beat the remaining egg and brush your eclairs with it. Then use a fork to draw lines along the surface. My oven is preheated to 175 degrees Celsius, that's 347 degrees Fahrenheit. Bake for at least 30 to 35 minutes until they're golden brown. And then allow them to totally cool on a rack. To make the pastry cream, we'll need 500 milliliters of milk, 80 grams sugar, 45 grams corn flour, 3 egg yolks, 1 whole egg, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. For the milk to boil on a medium to low heat. And in a bowl, whisk the egg yolks with the whole egg. Then add the sugar and whisk it. Finally, add the cornstarch and whisk it until it's all incorporated. Once the milk starts simmering and forming little bubbles, take about 1 tablespoon at a time and mix it with the egg, sugar and cornstarch mixture while continuously whisking. And by doing this, we will gradually increase the egg's temperature to achieve the creamiest texture, so just keep whisking while mixing the milk. Once you've mixed in the half of the milk, or about the 2/3, pour everything back into the pot and keep whisking. Now add the vanilla to the cream, and if you had your stove on low, you can set it on medium. When the cream starts thickening, you're gonna need to whisk it for another 1 to 2 minutes until you have the creamiest soft texture. Transfer it to a new bowl to stop the cooking process, cover it with some plastic wrap and let it cool to room temperature. And now we will make the caramel to flavor the filling cream and glaze the eclairs. For which we're going to need 100 grams heavy cream, 150 grams sugar, 75 grams water and 75 grams butter. Mix the sugar with the water and put them to cook on a low heat with the lid on until the sugar starts caramelizing and turning brown. By keeping the lid on during the caramelization process, you will avoid to have this burnt sugar on the sides. And keep stirring for another half a minute until you reach a nice dark brown. Add the cream and keep stirring continuously on low heat. And allow the cream to cook for another 20 seconds or so until the mixture is as dark as it was before pouring it in. Remove your pot from the heat and immediately add in the butter and keep stirring till it's totally melted. Now transfer the caramel into a glass or porcelain dish. Cover it with some plastic wrap and allow it to totally cool before using it for the next step. And now that both the cream and the caramel are cold, we're gonna start making the filling. I had my caramel in the balcony to cool fast and it's just as cold as a fridge, but if you have it in room temperature, it must be a little bit thinner. I add about 1.5 tablespoons, but you can add up to 3 tablespoons if you want a much stronger caramel taste in your cream. And beat your cream to both incorporate the caramel and to give it a nice fluffy and creamy texture. Use a small piping tip or a straw to make 3 holes on the bottom side of your eclairs. And then take the time to fill each little one of them with your caramel pastry cream. And finally to the glazing part. And to do this, we're gonna simply dip the upper side of the eclairs directly into the caramel. And you can run your finger on the sides to wipe off the drippings. This is the caramel's consistency in room temperature, but if yours had thickened, you can either microwave it for 10 seconds, not more, or warm it in a double boiler to have it thinner again. And as easy as that, you can make homemade eclairs from scratch. They are very delicious. With each bite you get the consistency of the nice choux pastry, the caramel and the nice creamy filling. Absolutely amazing. I thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you very soon with a new video and a new recipe. Happy baking!